In context, I would just add one line that what are the actual challenges that are faced by Afghan women?
How much time do we have to talk about that?
At least we want to know. We are so curious and anxious.
The challenge is any patriarchal society. Afghanistan being an extreme version of a patriarchal society. The men, when I was young, I used to be angry at men. Naturally, we are, because everything seems so unfair. But as I've aged and as I've received a little bit of wisdom now, I've also learned that patriarchal societies also put incredible amount of pressure on men to follow the status quo as defined by patriarchy. So if you, as a man, don't stick to that, which is prescribed for you, you're considered and ridiculed as a less man, as a not a good enough man. And so a lot of the challenges, from my perspective, about Afghan women is that, yes, there is the reality of we're not literate. 80% of the country is still illiterate. More women than men, but that's a stark number. Poverty. Our economy and the fact that we've been at war for 45 years is no joke. Childbearing, child rearing in our context it is believed and perceived by both men and women that a woman is made to bear as many children as her physical body can until she can, and raise them, and then marry those kids off, both boys and girls, and just grow old to basically go to your final home of the grave. Culturally, the value of a woman is very much inside the home. She doesn't have any presence outside of her home. Unfortunately, with 45 years of conflict, it hasn't allowed the women in the country, and there's always a group of women that start the movement, whether it was in India or in America or Europe, there's always those leaders who begin the conversation publicly. But you're able to begin that conversation and start questioning in an environment where you're not threatened every single day of your life. And right now, all it takes is one bullet. Literally, killing of a human being in my country, my birth country of Afghanistan, is easier than killing birds. And so when you live in that environment, then you stop asking any questions. And when you stop asking questions, you stop receiving answers. And so traditional, very conservative, patriarchal norms perpetuates itself. And when you have people like me who come from outside, even though I always considered myself an Afghan, but even at the ministry, when I was appointed, one of the main criticism against me was, oh, she's not an Afghan. She's an outsider from America. So there's the othering within societies that happens. And when you don't have the luxury of freedom, of peace, of an environment, of a space like this, an educational space to sit and question and discuss, how do you expect societies to just change? And so that, I think, is the biggest problem for Afghan women, is that we have not had the space to allow us to publicly raise and publicly question, so that the men can start feeling that they're not going to be less men if they start to change their behavior with women.
Interesting. But we also expect that why should only women speak up? Why should not a group of men again start questioning about this?
Do you really want me to become an enemy to all the wonderful men in this room today?
No, it doesn't happen.
If honestly, I'm sorry, but with all due respect to men, if men's leadership across the globe could prove that men had the courage to stand up for what is right, we would not be in the world that we are in today, as we speak right now. I think there's not enough good men leaders in the world, particularly in the political arena, to stand up against injustices across the globe. So Afghanistan is a small little drop in the ocean of men.
Wonderful.